Hello there, and welcome to Chicha Diaries. For the oldies, welcome to this new month. It's August. We are doing a new series this month, okay? As you can see from the title, it will be money chats. Like, I'm honestly one of the last people to be giving anybody money advice, but I feel like I've grown, I've learned a lot, and there's certain things that I have thought about, implemented, that have changed me for the better that I would like to share this month in a series of videos. And I will be bulk recording. Like that honestly helped me stay consistent last month. Like all the videos from last month are recorded in one weekend. And I plan on recording all 4 videos for August this weekend and then just pump them out so we can stay consistent over here. But yes, um, I hope all of you have been well. Okay, I haven't sat down to film in a month. That's why I'm acting like, you didn't just see me last weekend. Yeah, last weekend actually. But yeah, today's video, again, as you can see from the title, is going to focus on disposable income. And let me tell you, okay, when it comes to disposable income, like it can be a very touchy subject. It can be a very triggering, topic to bring up in somebody's life if you're asking them how they're doing, or if you're just trying to measure somebody's, success and how they're managing their life. Like I definitely went through it. Did I blow a lot of money in the past? Do I still kind of do? Yes. But I wanted to just sit down with you guys this month and especially in this week's video and just talk about this pressure to be able to save, to be able to do a lot of things with what you have. Like if you can manage, a bit of money, like there's this saying, like if you can do like a lot with a little, like you can do so much more with even more money, or something along those lines. And yes, let me tell you, okay, like I said, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure to be at a certain level in life when you're a certain age. Like you need to own certain things, you need to have certain things, you need to have gotten to, yeah, like just, it's all about levels, this and that, this and that. And when I, began my life outside of my parents' house, I was 22. I'm currently 31. So when I like moved out, so I've been working for almost 10 years, but when I moved out, I was 22. I moved to a different town. And my first salary, like I'll tell you guys what my first salary was, because this was 9 years ago. I'm in a far better place now. But when I started out, you guys, my first salary was 2,200 kwacha. And then I had that salary for about 6 months. And then it got increased to like 3,500 kwacha, which I earned for like a year. And then like I finally got confirmed at the place, where I was working. And of course, like my salary like drastically increased and changed my life for the better or whatnot. But when I was starting out, you guys, first of all, I lived in a small town. Rent, I think my first rent was 1,500 kwacha and I had a housemate. But then she moved out like after less than a year of living together. And then by then I was making like 3,500. So I had to spend 1,500 on rent. I needed to pay for utilities. I needed to buy food, cleaning materials, just have general upkeep, and I barely had anything, like anything left over to do stuff with. Of course, when I finally got confirmed, I was able to like buy certain things as time went by because I had far more quote unquote disposable income to do stuff with. But there are some people who don't even get to have that opportunity to have your salary like bumped up really high. Like you're consistently at maybe a 2,000 and then a 3,500 and then becomes a 4,000 and then maybe a 4,200. Like that's what like salary trajectory has been for a very, very, very long time. So I will try and put some things into perspective, okay? For those of you who are watching, sorry, I'm a bit rusty. Like it's been a month. I feel like I'm all over the place. Like in my mind, I had all my points ready, but let me just soldier through this video. But yeah, let me put this into perspective for somebody, okay? When I was finally able to buy a couple of stuff, like on my own with my own money, like I did get like a gratuity of sorts, and then I was also earning a lot more. I remember buying a stove because I had like a little two plates stove when I started out. Like my first stove, you guys. My first like big girl stove. Like the whole 4 plate situation. Like okay, if it's something you know what I'm talking about, like the standard device stoves that everybody, at least hopes to get that are 4 plates, and like a proper 4 plate stove that I've had till now in 2023, and I got this in 2016. Back then, a stove, I think I got mine for not more than 2,400 kwacha. And it was a solid stove with like everything and a fan and whatnot. I remember my friend, because at the time that I was able to afford certain things, I already had a fridge that I bought off of my old housemate. So it was secondhand, it didn't cost that much. But my friends who are buying stuff, like I remember back then, like my friends were getting 42-inch TVs for like 4,500 kwacha. You could get a really, really good fridge, like fridge with a dispenser and everything in it for like 3, 5, 4,000. Like that was like a really, really good stove. You could buy furniture. I remember my first laptop, like my very first laptop that I bought, that I still used to like edit stuff and the like, even though it's really, really old. I remember spending, I think 4,500 kwacha for everything, and I imported it because like game was, like more expensive. Like I'm an online shopper type of person. Like now, if you try and buy the exact same things now, I think stoves. I remember when my younger sister was now buying like big girl stuff for her house. I think I escorted her. Was that 2021? I think it was 2021. Like we went to like industrial area where like the actual Defy warehouse and LG and all those places are. I remember looking at stoves being like the exact same stove that I bought for 2,400 kwacha. It was like nothing less than 8,500 kwacha. Same thing with fridges. Like a really good fridge, like with everything, was more than 10,000 kwacha. A TV, okay, a TV, like a 42-inch TV. Again, it was over 10,000 kwacha. Like all of these things are exponentially more expensive, okay? But what are people actually getting in terms of their pay? Like what you get as your entry level salary hasn't changed that much from what it was 9 years ago. So you already have that working against you. Okay. And this video, again, I think even just with my previous month series, like this video is geared to like my younger viewers. Like I said, I realize I have younger viewers. Like some of you are going through it. You feel, like you're seeing a lot of stuff online, and you feel like you're maybe failing, or maybe you're not at a point that you wish you could be. Like sometimes it's not your fault. Okay. It's not your fault. So I will give that example. So one thing that is working against people who are younger, and I also had this conversation with my younger brothers, because my younger brothers are 5 and 7 years younger than me, and they are yet to move out of my parents' house. Like they live in Osaka. Like rent is insane. Like even me, okay, who earns a decent amount of money, is deathly afraid of moving back to Osaka because of how expensive rent is. Like one, like rent is working against you, and then you have to buy all these things to like start your home, and like it's very, very expensive. But what they would potentially get at a first job is the same amount of money that I was getting at a first job. Even after I got confirmed, like even if you get like a good job, okay, and you're earning a lot of like what I was able to get 6, 7, 8 years ago is like it's like one item. Whereas I could have bought three really, really good household items. My brothers could only get one of the same thing for the same amount of money that I used. Like I'm sure you're following me here. So that's the first thing that you have to consider when you're dealing with self-doubt, and you're like, how come, others seem to have made it? And if others pressure you as well, because that's what this video is about, not having disposable income, and being judged for not being successful, not being at a certain point in your life. Some of the people who might be saying, when I was your age or when I was younger, I was a bit more serious, I saved more, blah, 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 blah. That's like me telling somebody that when I was your age, I had all of these things set out for myself already. Like I've just explained to you how much things cost back then. Like it's actually mad right now. So that's the first thing. Inflation is mad. But what you're actually earning, like income hasn't gone up. Like what people are being paid like hasn't increased that much versus how much things cost. Inflation. And the second thing that you have to ask yourself when you're dealing with self-doubt, or you're at a certain point in your life, is the privilege that some of the people you're comparing yourself to have. So in as much as I went through a period where And this is the thing. When I first moved out of my parents' house, I didn't have all of these things working out for me. I had a two-plate stove, and what else did I buy? Like, I think cutlery, and that was it. That was it. And I had to work my way up to having, a decent, enough house. And even now, you guys, like, I don't have Pinterest board type furniture. Like, I'm working towards it. Like, I told myself this year I would try and improve and do better. But like, you guys, like, furniture is actually expensive. By the way, if you can hear my neighbor's dogs raging in the background, like, I'm so sorry, but I'm just trying to get this video out today. Actually, like, once I finish recording this, like, I will upload it today. At least I'll try. But yeah, so what was I even saying? Like, those dogs have just thrown me off. I'm so sorry. But yeah, like, so, like, in as much as I have been living on my own, like, I've been making a decent amount of money, like, I'm not even at the level that I wish I could be. Like, I would like to have nicer things, but stuff is expensive. But at least I'm even here. Like, at least I even have the basics and good basics, at least for a lot of stuff. So back to the whole thing of first thing is inflation, two is privilege. Sometimes, okay, you might compare yourself to somebody who might say, no, like, they struggle like me. Like, I could easily say I went from having a two-plate stove, I had to wait my time until I could afford a four-plate stove. But let me tell you, some people, and I'll put myself here as an example, come from privilege. I don't come from money, but I was definitely privileged enough to come from a family where people had my back when I was moving out. They were able to help me out, like, really, really help me out. I had, like the bed I slept on as a teenager, I moved into my new house with it. I got a whole sofa set. Granted, it was a very ancient sofa set. I still own it. I know I said I was going to change it this year. Like, this sofa set is over 20 years old. I know it's ancient, but it kept me going. I have two dining sets. I have, like, a 6-seat dining room set, really good quality. It's like, like, I like to call it vintage. Like, that one, I'm not getting rid of. It's still in tip top shape. And I also have, like a really nice wooden kitchenette that I also inherited. My mom, first of all, you know how expensive curtains are. Like, my mom, like, gave me, like, a whole set of curtains that I was able to put in my house. Like, I got a whole bunch of pots and pans and old things. I got stuff from my aunt. I got stuff from my sisters. Like, I got so many things to help, me just start up in life. Okay, my neighbor's dogs are raging. I'm so sorry. Let's pause. As soon as I said pause and I clicked pause, the dog calmed down. Like, I'm so sorry about this video. But I'm like, I'm having one of those days where even if I stop and start, like, yeah, it is what it is. Like, the energy today is just off like that. It's going to be all sorts of confusion, but this video will go up. And then tomorrow, like, the second video, the third, the fourth, like, whatever I film for the rest of the weekend, like, I know it will be a lot better. Like, it's just shit because it's the first one. I don't know, like, it just happens like that sometimes. But yes, as I was saying, I had all these things working in my favor. Okay. So even when I got to a point where I could afford new furniture, like, I didn't have to replace everything. Okay. I still had, like, it was just the stove that I had to get. Whereas for other people, like, they are starting from scratch. Like, even with a little money that they have to use all of that, like, literally all of that to furnish their home and get basics, just to live in a somewhat conducive environment. While somebody like me, who doesn't have to spend all of this extra money getting furniture and household items, can use that to better themselves. Okay. And that's exactly what I did. Instead of spending a whole bunch of money on household items and furniture, I was able to use that money for other things. I remember the first thing that I did was take myself back to school, even though school's like a whole other situation, but I was able to spend, this other money to invest in myself. Like, I took myself back to school and actually paid for my university this time. It was such a good feeling paying for my own school, by the way. It was like no pressure or anything. I was also able to travel. Okay. When I say travel, like, you know what? No, 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 no. Like, I was about to put down what I was able to do myself. Like, please, like, that was a huge achievement on its own. Like I was about to downplay that, but let me not do that. I went on holiday. while other people like were still struggling, trying to put whatever money that we're earning now to buy stuff. And that's how privilege works. You know what I mean? So you might be comparing yourself to somebody saying, oh my gosh, they're able to do this, able to do that. Like there are so many things working in their favor where they they just keep progressing and moving forward while you're stuck and you're trying to catch up. So sometimes, it's not your fault. Sometimes you really are doing the best that you can, but life, the economy is just working against you. It really is. So that's how I wanted to start this video. I know it's been all over the place, money chats, what it's like, okay, not having disposable income and feeling bad, because I know a lot of people feel bad. You're comparing yourself to people, and sometimes you get shamed by people who, like I said, either began their careers ages ago or make a lot more money than you do. And even if you make the same, because sometimes you make the same, but they have other, things around them that are that are supplementing their expenditure, if you know what I mean. So that's what I wanted to say. Of course, I'm not saying like, be in that situation if you can do something about it, and I'll talk about that in subsequent videos. But I just wanted to begin this video by saying this won't necessarily be one of those money chats where I'm like, if you want to make a million kwacha by the time you're 25, like this is how it's going to go. You need to work hard, you need to do this and that, blah 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 blah. I am not that person, I'm sorry. I am not that YouTuber who is going to tell you that I am Chita, okay, from Chita Diaries, and I like to keep it real. I try to be as honest as possible, and I wanted to just tell you that do the best you can, and don't compare yourself, to people around you. Are there certain scenarios where there are some things that you're doing personally to set yourself back? Yes, I'm going to talk about that in subsequent videos. But I wanted to just do this intro and say, sometimes when people are asking you whether you have a savings account and why, and and if you don't, and asking you why you don't have a savings account, like sometimes don't feel too bad. Okay, like you're literally trying to survive. Like all you have money for is rent and food and your commute to and from work. Like you're literally in survival mode. Okay, and you're not the only person, by the way. There's so many other people going through it. So sometimes I know it's really, really sad. Like you're already dealing with that. Okay, that in itself is a lot. So don't let other people even guilt you about so many other things. Like I remember being in that zone when I was earning 3,500 kwacha. At least it was 3,500 at that point. And I'd watch these YouTube videos on how to save if you want to travel or whatnot. I remember laughing and telling like one of my sisters, like, I'm glad I'm self-aware enough to know that there's something called tax brackets. Okay. And I am not in a tax bracket where I can save to go on vacation. Like I'm not there yet. I'm very aware and I am calm about it, and I know I'll get there at some point, but I'm not going to put myself under pressure or think or feel that I'm not doing something right. Okay. If I'm not doing that. So yeah, maybe not keep you for too long. Under 20 minutes. Sorry, it's been all over the place, but it's an intro to this month's series. I tried to do a red lip. I absolutely hate it. I hate it. Well, it's coming off as orange on camera, but in real life, it's like an actual red. This is like the Fenty MVP. I've never really been a red lippy person. I wanted to do something different this month. I was like, a new lipstick. I only have burgundy lipsticks. I was like, you know what? For the month of money chance, we're doing a red lip. And here I am hating this color, but I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me. I'll try it out for the rest of this month's money chats. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this intro. It was all over the place. But yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the month, and I will see you in the next video.